Weight loss jabs have skyrocketed in popularity amongst adults, but now they're being used on children too.
Yeah, Consultant Paediatrician Dr. Muriel Meso, who prescribes these jabs to teens, is here to explain how it works and their impact. Good morning, Muriel.
Good morning. Welcome to the sofa. Thank you so much for doing this. Many people might not know that these drugs, like Wegovy, are actually being given to children now. They're available for children now. But specifically, it's for children with type 2 diabetes. Is that correct?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's been used in children with type 2 diabetes for longer, but it's recently been licensed for 12 to 18-year-olds for weight loss. But this is under specialist clinics, under specialist multidisciplinary teams. This is just to make sure that it's done in a safe way and that the weight loss is sustained and they're able to, these young people are able to carry this on in their journey even after they do come off these jabs.
But those young people have to specifically have type 2 diabetes, is that right?
Yeah, so they need to have type 2 diabetes in wider clinics.
Yeah.
In the child and in the weight loss clinics for excess weight loss clinics, or the Q clinics. Yeah. Children aged between 12 to 18 who do have obesity can be prescribed these, but it has to be under this umbrella. Yeah. So it's a clinics where you have a paediatric endocrinologist, you have dietitians, you have psychologists and physiotherapy. You have a multidisciplinary team to be able to counsel these patients before they do then go on.
And is there a certain weight they have to be or a percentile they have to be? What's the...
Yeah, so the licenses for children whose BMI percentile is above the 95th percentile, and ultimately they have to be over 60 kilos, but also above the 95th percentile. And these are, so that the specific situations in which you prescribe these jabs are very, it's on a case-by-case basis. You would need to show that these young people have already tried other measures. They've already had input from a dietitian, they've had increase in their physical activity and exercise, and they've tried all this and it hasn't worked, and then the next step would be the injection. And specifically also young people who have complications from excess weight, type 2 diabetes, but also high blood pressure, sleep apneas, fatty liver. There are lots of complications, including mental health as well, when children are obese.
Yeah. When anybody hears the word children and then these jabs, we always get a little bit nervous about that. Do you think it, from what you've seen, because I know you've prescribed these to young teens, and I think the youngest has been 14, from what you've seen, is it effective? What has it been life-changing for some of these children? What have you seen?
So most of these children are ones who have type 2 diabetes. It is life-changing. A lot of them have tried other interventions for several years before, and either the diabetes is not under control, the weight is not coming down. It's, in fact, the weight continues to increase. Once we do start these jabs, we do have, we see a percentage in a decrease in the weight as early as from 3 months onwards. So this is after having tried for several years before they start these jabs, and we see an improvement in weight, in diabetes control. But I think the main thing is also, because this is done with input from a dietitian, for instance, and they have close medical follow-up, so they're able to still continue eating healthily, but lose the weight, and they develop techniques that they can use, lifelong techniques to be able to manage the way in which they eat, thinking about the food portions, thinking about the types of foods they eat. And in a way, so the jabs help get you there. But then, obviously, specifically for weight loss, they're not going to be on these forever. So it's just about giving these young people the tools they need to be able to sustain this.
Which is largely his education through, like you said, basic home economics, right? And diet and nutrition, and also exercise. Yes. Have you seen the difference that it makes to a child, both in their physical well-being and their mental well-being?
No, definitely, because also, so we know that the incidence of childhood obesity is rising. 1 in 5 children leaving primary school is obese. It's a big problem. In addition to the side effects, the complications I've talked about, such as the heart disease and fatty liver, you also have a lot of mental health issues associated with being obese. And a lot of these young people we meet are very stuck. They feel very stuck. They've tried lots of things and they're stuck and nothing's working. So for this group of young people, especially those who are at risk of other complications or those who actually do have these complications, this is a useful intervention for them to kind of just give them a leg up, just to step in, a helping hand to start this, and then they can continue with the healthy eating and exercise.
What are the side effects of using the drug?
Yeah.
What do you see in children?
So the more common side effects are to do with what we call the gastrointestinal systems. So they get nausea, vomiting, you can get some abdominal pains. These are quite common. They're rarer but serious side effects such as pancreatitis and gallstones would cause severe pain, severe abdominal pain. And
why does that happen? Why didn't they get that?
It's just to do with, I suppose, how... So the weight loss injection is changing kind of the metabolism, how you're eating and how you're digesting your food. In a small percentage of people, you could get these gallstones, but I think that's at that point, or pancreatitis, at that point, you would need to stop. And this is why these young people need to be seen in a clinic, in a multidisciplinary clinic, but they need to be followed up as well to make sure that if they're developing any complications, then these are caught early. But also, it's also important, they're young people, they're still growing and developing. It's important to make sure that they're taking in the right nutrition.
Yeah. Well, this is it, right, because it's an appetite suppressant.
Yes,
so you need to balance this with kids getting what they need. What sort of challenge is that, do you think?
So it can be, and I think this is why the key thing that I want to stress is that this is the kind of thing that has to be done in a multidisciplinary team. And this is why you would need to have, for instance, a paediatric dietitian involved when you have these young people taking these injections, because they need to be able to go through the kind of nutrition that they need to have, but also make sure that they're continuing to have these nutritions. Also, as they have follow-up, they have their weight checked. If the weight loss is faster than we'd expect, then again, we need to check.
Address that.
Yeah, we address it, do some blood tests, make sure that nutritionally they're still okay and they're losing weight at an appropriate rate.
And are the parents on board as well? And they're following the journey with their child, obviously?
They are, and I think a lot of the young people, we have to, I mean, obviously we've talked about, I mean, we know that the number of children with obesity is growing. This is kind of a lot of the young people who are then approach healthcare for these injections, for these interventions, they have tried things already. They've tried these interventions already, and a lot of the times their parents have tried this with them. And it's gotten to a point where they just really do need another solution or a helping hand. Okay. It doesn't mean that they stop any of the other lifestyle measures that they're putting in. Yeah. So you still carry on with a healthy diet and the exercise, but then this is just an additional treatment that can help them get to a healthy weight.
What do you think the future of this is? Obviously, we have to change the way we're teaching kids, and we haven't got long left in the show, but what do you think, what would be your headlines to where you want to see this, how this would go?
In terms of the injection?
Yeah, and in terms of education.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, the injections are given to people who've tried interventions that haven't worked. It's important to try and avoid getting to this stage, but it's not always very easy. Yeah. But there are resources available in the community. We have the NHS website for healthy eating, the healthy plate. We also have in the community childhood weight loss centres for children. Yeah.
Run out of time.
Hi everyone, just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.